Okay, great. Let's get started here. This is the Urban Louisville Chess Club podcast. I'm your host, Coach Corbin, and we have with us a very special guest. Now, look, I feel really silly. I've got this gentleman's first and last name spelling, Asaf first name, last
Yeah.
name Givon. And for the life of me, I should have contacted my rabbi friend and said, Rabbi, how do I pronounce this name? But I've been so busy, I didn't get around to doing that. Brother, how do I pronounce your first and last name?
It's Asaf, first name,
Uh-huh.
and last name is Givon.
Asaf. Okay. All right. And brother,
Yeah.
you're there in Israel right now. What city?
So it's a city called Herzliya. It's right next to Tel Aviv.
Okay, just outside Tel Aviv, you say?
Yeah, it's a nice place by the beach. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, it sounds nice by the beach. What's the weather like there right now?
Pretty sunny. It's been a bit cold last week, but now we're approaching Passover, and usually by that time of the year it's becoming pretty sunny. Yeah.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Brother, we in our podcast we do about 15 minutes, and so I want to jump straight into some of the questions here.
Sure.
I think I ran across you in chess.com. Aren't you a coach, a chess coach?
Yeah. So amongst other things that I do in the chess realm, let's say I teach online classes on chess.com and other chess websites. So actually, ever since the whole epidemic and also the Netflix TV show Queen's Gambit, there was a very huge demand for online classes. That's took like a big portion of my time in recent times.
Okay, great. That's great. Yeah, here in the United States, that movie, there was a time when I wasn't asked at least, once a day about that movie, and then I actually heard from a chess company saying that because of that movie, the demand for chess equipment, chess clocks, has just hit the roof, and so they're letting me know my order is going to be a little late.
Yeah, I heard about that too. It made me wonder if, like, in the future, like very big companies would pay like this kind of TV show producers to make like a TV series about all kinds of topics just to make them popular, or just to increase sales or something. That could be really funny. But yes, I also here in Israel, like, I think after the TV show went out and it became the most popular show on TV on Netflix, I think there were some days that I think I got like phones for at least maybe 3 different people per day asking for equipment, coaching, or chess tournaments. They I absolutely remember those times.
Wow, that's something. Now, you had mentioned that other than teach chess online, you do other things within the chess community. What are some of those other things?
So first of all, in the local chess community, I'm still an active player. This mainly is being done through the local chess league. The Israeli chess league is actually probably one of the strongest leagues in the world. Local leagues, and we have many grandmasters, international masters. I play in that league. Occasionally there are some tournaments around here, such as the local Israeli like individual championship. Sometimes we have, so I'm still a bit of an active player at times. I also run my own small chess club in my like nearby the place I live. I started it like about 2 or 3 years ago, and ever since COVID-19, we were like on and off being open and closed at times, but right now we are kind of slowly returning to the to being operational. We conduct some, classes and tournaments. So I wanted to build up like a chess community here as well. So and also I just give all kinds of lectures and other chess related activities in some companies in Israel. That's we have a lot of like high tech companies and other like startups, and for them it's very important to provide their labor force with quality educational stuff even during work time. It's a very common thing to do, so I do a couple of these as well.
Wow, that's yeah. Let me just say to our listeners, I hope you listen very carefully what this brother just said about how these high-tech companies, how important it is for them to offer their employees high-quality academic or thinking-oriented activities. And so they bring him as a person to lecture on chess and to talk about chess. I hope people take note of that.
Yeah, it's becoming a common thing to do, kind of to give the worker, like, to the company want to show the workers that they also invest in them, in their education, in their well-being, so they will have a bit motivation to do better at work and more skills. So that's actually I thought a very cool thing that, like, back in the day, I don't think existed so much.
Right. I have to agree with you. And let me ask you just a couple of quick questions here about the Israeli Chess League. Is that is that purely amateur or semi-professional or professional?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, many people ask me that. So I think I would call it semi-professional. I know that the strong players like international master and grandmasters nearly always getting paid to play for their teams and their sponsors, and there are some also amateur players, but I would say about 70 or 80% of players get at least some sort of payment for their games. Yes, so that's one of the main. I don't know if I'm not sure if to say the main, but definitely one pretty steady source of income for many chess players here and around, not only in Israel, playing leagues around Europe, for example, because it's not like in other sports when you can only play in one team or something. So theoretically, a player can play in the Israeli league, and then when the season starts at the German league, to play for a team there, and so on. So I know some grandmasters in Israel that play like in 6 or 7 different chess leagues. That's
wow.
So yeah, that's so we can say that it's semi-professional.
That should give us some inspiration here in the United States to start doing more things like that. There is a brother here. I forget his first name. His last name is Shahada, and he does.
Greg?
Yes. So you're familiar with him?
Yeah, I think I saw him on YouTube. No, he's on YouTube?
Yes, he is on YouTube.
Yeah, I think I think I know him. And is he related to the woman Jennifer Shahada?
Jennifer Shahada.
Yes.
Yeah, it's his sister.
Oh, his sister. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And do you ever come in the United States to play?
Well, actually, yes. Couple of years ago, I think it was year 2018. I visited with my girlfriend. We went to the US, actually just for a vacation. But I happened to visit one local chess club in New York, and they invited me to give like a lecture and a small simultaneous exhibition. So I didn't have a chance to play in a tournament yet, but I am planning to do this one day. I thought about playing in the U.S. Open. At some point in my life, it's not so easy to. It's a pretty far away place for me, but that's in the let's say that's in the one of my plans. Yes.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. And we have a few minutes left. We got to wrap things up, unfortunately, because I know my listeners are, they're just going to love this interview. But how did you get started in chess?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the 90s, there was a huge when the Soviet Union got broken up into many small countries. Many Jewish Russian people immigrated from the Soviet Union to Israel. We are talking approximately 1 million people. It's a huge number considered that the whole population of Israel at these times were maybe 4 or 5 million. And many of these brought with them like the chess culture. Amongst these people were my parents. So I was born in Israel, but originally my family came from Soviet Union. So I had this small chess. It's not like my parents were great chess players or anything, and it's not like it wasn't a hobby for them. But when I went to like after school activity at my school playing chess, and I came back to my parents and said, I want to learn chess, they were extremely supportive of that in terms of, getting me into chess tournaments and clubs and leagues and everything. So it really started when I was around the age of 8, and it's kind of escalated from there, mainly by the support of my parents. Yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic to hear. And last question here: how would you sort of generally describe the chess community in Israel? I know that's even though it's a small country, it's still a whole country, it's a fairly big country. How would you generally describe the chess community in Israel?
Very small, but in a good way, like very warm. Everybody knows each other. I think that if I look at the list of maybe 100 or best 100, 200, maybe even 1,000 best players in Israel, I would assume I know the majority of them personally. So small and warm, and having this feel of community in a way. Also because it's a small country, so all chess clubs are pretty close to each other. You might know players from all around the place, and so it has a very good like feel of community and people knowing each other. So yes.
Are there some things that chess clubs, here in the United States can do to help the chess community in Israel?
To help the chess community in Israel? Well, I know that, for example, during these times of COVID-19, where people were at home, there were many events between chess clubs in Israel and the United States, kind of online battles, and especially for kids, it was very important, and teenagers, it gave them the opportunity to play a little bit of chess and not to be just stuck at home all the time without doing anything. So I guess that could be a very cool idea. Like, I think not only for the US and Israel, like arranging occasionally online team battles that will give some, motivation for players to play and compete, because at the end of the day, playing chess is fun, but giving people the incentive or the some target or some goal to beat that team or to achieve a certain goal, always give the motivation to do better. So yeah, that could be a cool idea.
Okay, all right, brother. I appreciate your time so much today.
Thank you too.
We will, and I hope it's okay. Maybe we can try to plan on having you come back sometime, and maybe we can figure out how we can pay you to give our students a lesson or two. I don't know, maybe
Sure.
an Amazon.com card or something
Yeah,
like
that we can figure this out.
that.
It would be, of course, my pleasure, and I always find it pretty amazing. Like back in my times, when I grew up studying chess, we didn't have such options, to study remotely, and
Yes.
meet people all around the world. It's pretty amazing.
Yes. Absolutely,
Yeah.
brother. I know what you mean. My students are just thrilled to death when I told them about this interview. And so, brother, I will keep in touch. I appreciate your time, and you'll be hearing from me again soon, folks. This is
Thank
Urban
you.
Local Chess Club, and stay tuned.